welcome yet again to another show with Marilyn Green, the hostess with the mostest on Girl Who Don't You Know. Okay, we're coming here today and we're going to be talking about something that's going to transform your mind. We're going to be talking about budgeting and debt and money and things that you maybe don't want to hear about, but I'm telling you, need to hear about it, okay? Because those are the things that's going to get your mind free so you can sleep at night and sleep like a baby, okay? So today I have Mr. Martin Booker on. He is a financial expert. So, Mr. Booker, I see you there. So, come on and just say something, okay? Go ahead. I'm ready.
Yep. Hello, hello. How you doing? I'm so glad to be here. So excited to be here today. Thank you for having me on to for this important and fun topic. This is the good stuff. This is stuff we want to talk about. This is the medicine we need, but it's also the stuff that we enjoy. So thank you for having me on here today to talk about
Money.
money, the thing that we enjoy, the thing that changes our lives. Is very
Yes, and
important
I
for us.
love the part when you said about something that maybe I start thinking about castor oil, how you don't want to take it, but it's good for you. Okay, so it's the same
Mhm.
thing here. You don't want to hear it. So tell me, I'm looking at you, Mr. Booker. You looking pretty young to be trying to be that financial expert. So how did you get into all this? Tell us about that.
Marilyn, this was something that was very important for me, something near and dear to my heart, right? It's like we grow up around money, we hear about it, we know about it, we see all of these things, and it's like we gotta, at some point we gotta make sure that we actually we truly understand it and know what to do with it, right? We know how to spend it, and there's no doubt about that. We typically learn about how to save it, but do we ever really learn about how to grow it? Like those are some of the things that are important for us. How do we grow it? How do we make sure that we truly manage it in a way that's helpful for us? So for me, this started from a young age of just kind of wanting to really understand money, but then also wanting to use it as a tool to make sure that we as a people live the best lives that we can. Because when our money's in order, like we get our finances in order, then we it helps us with our life. Then it helps us to be able to serve our families, then our communities, right? Like this is my way of giving. So this is a way of giving back. Is to make sure that we know what to do with our finances so that we can then in turn make sure that we're helping our communities and things like that. I come from a
I
social work
see,
background.
Mr.
So this was
MSW,
all,
Mr.
yeah, this was,
MSW. I saw that. Okay,
yeah, it was all
social
about,
work is always trying to
it
help
was to
somebody,
help
but it's okay.
it. And I thought about it. I'm like, let's do it with a money
Yeah.
lens to it, right? Like that's something different. It's like we think of all the ways to give. What if we help people become financially sustainable and be able to do all these amazing things with their lives and then their families and their communities and then the world if they choose. But finances are just my way of
Oh, wow,
serving
I
people.
love that. I love that. So when you say serving people, do you ever go into schools or things of that? What do you? I mean, how do you serve them? How do you serve us? You know.
Yep, yep. So I starting off, I've been doing this probably since college. And we started off going into elementary schools and teaching children about like money systems. Like what does it mean to how does banking work? How does money flow and things like that? Just in a simple level. And we were going into areas where, those conversations usually weren't happening. So that's how I started off. And then from there I just kept going, right? So I will find more and more ways to be in spaces where I can educate about finances, educate myself and learn more, and then kind of use that as the platform to begin, making sure that we really understood it so that we can use it to benefit us. So yeah, schools, I've been grateful to be able to teach as young as 3 year olds. I was sitting around with 3 year olds sweating trying to teach
That's
them
a good
about money,
thing. That's a good
right?
thing.
Like trying to get them yeah, trying to get them to just understand a few simple concepts all the way up to working with people in their 60s, 70s years of age. So it's been a journey, but yes, I've done very young and I've kind of done everything in
Okay,
between.
okay. So when people are around you, your friends, and they spending some money, just hypothetically and stuff, are they looking in your face? What they doing? Okay.
Um,
It's just like it's
Marilyn,
just
I was
like
at a
the
birthday.
person that is on a diet and they with a dietitian or whatever. What's
Oh
going on
man,
with that? What happens
you
when you
know
come around? Everybody be like, oh wow. Mm.
Let me tell you. So I'm gonna tell you how that go. I was at a birthday party just last Friday. So I walked in. Somebody said, "Don't worry, I ain't spending none of my money on this." I said, Look, it's your birthday. You ain't supposed to spend no money. They better be treating you in here." So little things like that. People make jokes about it because I like to joke about it. I like to make money fun and light. Crack jokes because it's one of those topics that's like it's a
Mm-hmm.
vulnerable topic, right? Like to be able to share with somebody about
Uh-huh.
your finances and what you've done financially, that's a lot of pressure. So for me, I try to make it fun and make it, like joke with it and make it enjoyable because that's how you're going to really relate with somebody, and especially us,
Mm-hmm.
right? We grew up. It was don't tell nobody how much you make. Don't let nobody see. Like don't let nobody look into your finances, or they keep everything
Yes.
was kept quiet. We behind on a bill, nobody
Right.
knew, right? Like those types of things. We weren't transparent in those ways. So to be able to have those conversations to be able to have those conversations and do it in a transparent and fun way, I knew that if I'm gonna reach my people, I got to do it in a fun and enjoyable way. So yes, people do it with me, but they know that they can joke with me, and I'm gonna just make it a fun
That's a
joke too.
good thing. So when I saw you, you were giving some lessons on finances, and you did come very,
Hmm.
very smooth. You came very relatable. Like, I don't mind telling him, okay? So I was like, so I mean, I'll full disclosure and stuff. When I saw him in June, I knew I had to have him in. It's February, the month that you need to love on yourself. I knew then. I'm like, oh no, I got to get this man. Okay. Because I wanted to bring to you all about digging yourself out of debt. We all do it. We all know about it. It's no type of judgment here, no judgment zone. It's just about the realization of this is where I am. And you spoke about it, Mr. Booker, about the fact don't nobody want to talk about it. They keep it on the inside. You don't even know that they in so much debt or whatever, and so they get so stressed out over something that they can really just open up. Okay, let me just put it like this: stop being an African American for a minute, okay, and just start and start telling your business, the real business, okay, not all this little goofy stuff, right? But your real busy
Hmm.
business that's keeping you maybe in somebody else's business. That's another topic because you so busy upset about you ain't got no money. So he revealed four financial strengths, okay? Tell me a little bit about that. What I mean, I can't really recall it, but share that with the audience if you
Yeah.
will.
I'm happy to. Marilyn, you got a good memory. I'll tell you that. I appreciate you bringing that up because this was something that I would think on, and I always tell people like there's four main things that we can do with
Mm-hmm.
our money, right? And I look at them as like call them the four money muscles, the
Mm-hmm.
four money strengths, whatever you choose. But for all of us, we can either spend or give our money. We can save our money, we can make our money, and we can grow our money. And those are like the basis of like the things that we can do. And I think when we look at it as just these four pillars, it's an easier
Mm-hmm.
concept to grasp. And if we start to think about what we can do with these four things, then it can help us. And I'm gonna just give a quick little
Mm-hmm.
breakdown on each. So when it comes to making money, I'm gonna give a strength and then an opportunity for
Okay.
growth for each one. So when we think about making money, the person who's usually really good, I would say all of us are good at one of these. We have a strength. Like this is where we are most natural. And then for the others, they can be secondary and they can also switch too. Like sometimes, depending on where you are in your life, you may be operating in one of them versus the other. So for the money maker, you're usually that person who your whole life, this is what you did, right? You grew up, you had the cookie stand, you had the lemonade stand, you were selling something, you were making little bead bracelets and selling them as a kid. Yep, you
Uh-huh.
always found a way to make you some money. And you would do it. You're gonna make sure you did that as a child. Then you got a little older, you started selling something else. You were doing hair, you were doing, all types of things to make money. Then you moved into your career and you were the person. You're going to negotiate that raise, you're going to get that higher paying job, you're going to do things to climb and make sure
Mm-hmm.
that you're making money. The money maker, we with this one thing we know you're going to do is you're going to have some
What
income
part?
coming in. And it might be
That's
multiple
right.
streams,
That's
right?
it.
Because that's what the moneymaker does. But now here's the opportunity for growth for the moneymaker. Usually the person who makes it, they also don't have a problem spending it because when they look up, they're like, I'm gonna get it right back. I'm gonna make some more, right? And they're usually good at that. It's always coming in. So then they're like, well, I can just use it because they're going to make more. So that's and in that area, for the maker, one of the things where the area for you, opportunity for you, is in saving your money. Because even though you're going to keep making it, we want to make sure that you have that proper
Hmm.
emergency fund. We want to
Hmm.
make sure that you have just that proper nest egg just in case, right? We know you know how to get to it, and you're gonna make some more, but we want to just make sure that it's there in all cases and in any scenario. So that's the maker. Then there's the money saver. The money saver, you're the person we look up. You likely don't have to operate from budget because you're not going to spend all your money no way. You're going to keep that pile of money in your bank. People I've met that are money savers, I look up, they'll easily have 30,000 just sitting in a regular savings account, no issues. And they get paid, they never spend it all because naturally they just hold on to their money. They
Hmm.
save their money. Sometimes it's out of necessity, or sometimes it's due to some of that
Yeah,
financial trauma that we've experienced, right? You grew up and you didn't have it, and now you're like, I will never
that's
be
it.
without it again, right? We we've seen that. So it's, in some cases you can look at it as kind of like a money hoarder. It's not necessarily a bad thing. You're holding on to cash. But let me give you another thing to think about. When you're that money saver, the area for you and that opportunity for you is in growing your money, because you're so used to holding on to every dollar. The idea of putting it at risk or putting it into a market and growing it, that is
Hmm.
scary to you because you've watched it grow dollar by dollar, and now you're like, well, why would I dare invest that money and see it dip and then come back up? But sending your money to work is one of the most beneficial things that you can do. You don't have to work for every dollar. You can work for your dollar and then send your dollars to work for you and let it grow. So for that money saver, you will miss out on what's called opportunity costs. Look that up. You want to make sure that you're taking advantage of
Hmm.
opportunity costs by sending your money to work. So that's for the saver. Now, for the spender and the giver of money, we know you enjoy life, you love life, you're gonna enjoy them
Oh,
dollars, you're gonna have a good time. You're gonna have a good time, and you're one of them people who's, you say, I can't take it with me, right? That's that
okay.
famous line for the money spender. I can't take it with me. So you're gonna find a way to enjoy
Right.
your dollars, right? But then also there's that giver who has that bleeding heart, and you're gonna make sure that you help everybody. People know come to you with their cause. If somebody is in need, they know to come to you because you're going to serve, you're going to help. That's what you do with your money. So you tend to serve others or give money. Now, I want to make sure that the spender and the giver think about the area of saving as well, because for you, you have to make sure, like they say, put on your
Yes.
oxygen mask first. You have to make sure that you're taken care of before you're helping everybody else, or before you're spending. For that spender, give yourself a cap. We have to make sure that you're budgeting well, and we have to make sure that you have that savings in place, and then you enjoy the rest, right? You can have an amount. No one's ever telling you not to enjoy your money. You just can't enjoy
Okay.
every dollar. No one's telling you not to give your money, but you can't give every dollar if you don't have yourself set up for success first. And then that last area is the grower. This is me, the money grower. You're that person who you don't see every dollar as an employee
Oh,
to you. You want to send every
I like
dollar to
that.
work. The moment you get paid, you want to invest it. Yep, you ready to just send your money to work. But what gets tricky, and we always find it, we're gonna real estate investing, we're gonna look into stock market investing, we're gonna look into some way to put our money somewhere for it to also continue to grow and pay us. We got dividends, we got all types of things when you're the money grower. Here's what gets tricky for the grower. We actually lack in savings in most cases because for us, the idea of leaving money sitting in an account and not growing, oh no,
Oh my
we
gosh,
don't
you
like
got
the
a
idea of
glee
that.
in your eye.
We,
Your eyes start lighting up. You
we
start lighting
you
up.
see me? You see me? Because I'm like, I mean, this is
You,
this is my thing. The idea I have I have to put systems in place to make sure that money goes into savings. Because if I got a choice of growing it and saving it, I want to grow it. So, but you end up setting yourself up if something really does happen, and now you have to tap into your investments in order to take care of life. So you do have to just make sure you got that savings. Because the worst case for a grower is that investments are down because the market's just not great, which happens. There are
hmm.
times when that happens. So you might have to wait it out a year, wait it out some months, but investments are down and you lose income at the same time. That would be the worst case scenario for a grower because now you got to tap into investments at their low in order to pull out for savings. So you do want to just have some type of nest egg saved. So for each of these categories, we all
Yes.
fall into one of them. Think about which one you're in. But then I want you to just remember this one thing. We are all we all get to play to our strengths, but we also have to staff our weaknesses. So the things that you're great at, operate in that space. But the areas where you struggle or where you lack, find the support to make sure that you're doing it, because we want to tackle all four of those spaces
I
well.
like that. I was just so in love with that I did take some notes. I was like, I was so in love with that because I am looking at myself, as the original baby boomer, okay? Not those other imitations, the
Mm-hmm.
original baby boomer, right? And I'm listening to
Mm-hmm.
you and I fit in each one of those, okay? And I'm excited
Mm.
about it because I don't know too much about the stock market, but I got my money, the work invested. You know how you put it in this one thing and then they invest it for you, deferred comp and all that stuff.
Yep.
So I have that, and I love
Mm-hmm.
to save money. Got that from my mama. That's another thing. You got to
Mm-hmm.
look at where you came from and how they did their stuff because you're gonna do the same thing. But guess what? I think you wrote down here. Don't let the current moment define your life. So whatever that you've been doing, don't mean you got to keep on doing because Mama and them did that. Okay, you can grow up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say grow up and set your family the generational wealth. You can steer them. Okay, to say this is the way we do. Right? I see you bobbing your head. Is that right? Is that right?
I mean, you're preaching on it because
Yeah.
you talking right now. I'm sitting there like, man,
Yeah.
you on it. You,
It's like say
yes,
my
yeah.
mother told me this, and I love this. She said the best lender is yourself. I love that
Mm,
because you know what I'm saying?
yep.
I ain't got to go nowhere and get no money from
Yes.
nobody, right? I got my money myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I know you have to learn how to, and I wrote it down, get yourself a discipline plan, okay? Because people don't have it. They just be like going crazy, then be saying, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I don't know. I'm gonna have to, you know what I'm saying? So you have to me,
Yeah.
you gotta look inside, Mr. Booker, and say, what is eating me? What traumatic things that I have
Mm-hmm.
in my life? And I'm gonna tell you one that I had when I was a little girl, about two. I saw my mother. I saw a long time ago. They used to come and get your furniture. Okay, they didn't just put you on a report. Okay, they come and get your stuff and take it out your house and embarrass you. So I can
Yeah.
remember standing there.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was two or three, and I kept doing like this, like what they doing? And then I heard it. And when I
Yeah.
heard that, I said, no one will ever take anything out of my house. No
Mm-hmm.
one will, because
Mm.
I'm like, I'm gonna pay my bills, okay? And see, that's another
Yeah.
thing, and I
Yeah.
know you probably can talk about this as well. When we think about credit cards, and people say, "Well, I can't pay them, I can't pay more," but you got to pay the minimum, right? Tell us about that? Tell us about that one.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. And that's what, with the credit cards. And that's the thing. See, we start, like you said, no one will be able to come and take anything from you. And that comes from
Yes.
ownership. Just this idea that I'll own my things and I'll be in
Mm-hmm.
control, right? So as long as I'm in control and I'm not just burdened with debt, or I'm not in this position where it's like I have all of these things that are contingent upon my paycheck, right? Like if I don't pay this, somebody can come take something from me. Or if I fall behind on this, now I don't have the money to be able to buy something else. We want to make sure that we get beyond
Mm-hmm.
those points, right? And we try to set ourselves up for true ownership. And it's a matter of not just, owning things, it's owning
Yes.
our life. We want to be in a position where even the job that we work, if they didn't want me anymore, they no longer needed me in service, I am not in this space where I have to go and find something else, or I'm in this place of desperation because I've put all these
Mm-hmm.
things around me that allowed me to have to need this. So now just bringing that back to the credit and debt thing, like you mentioned. So when it comes to, like, credit and debt, one of the things that we want to do is, if we've put ourselves in this position where we've just like acquired a lot
Mm-hmm.
of debt, right? Then we have to now stop. And I'll say the first thing you have to do is look at a budget. Find the way to map out that budget. I always say, if you're in the mall, you walk in the mall and we're trying to find our favorite store. We've never been in this mall before. One of the first things we're going to do is we're going to find
Mm-hmm.
a map. And you go look at that map, and that map is going to tell you you
Yes.
are here.
Yes.
That's the
Yes.
first thing
Yes.
that it says. It tells you you are here. And the next thing that it's going to do is show you how to get to that store that you're trying to get to from the
Yes.
location where you are. Your budget is your you are here moment. So when you lay that budget out and you put in all of your expenses, all of your income, and the difference, that's going to let you know exactly where you are. How much money do I
Mm-hmm.
have to spend? How much money am I spending? And then how much is left over afterwards? And once we know those things, then we can are now in a position where we can figure out how am I going to get to that next location. So if debt is what I'm in, then that difference between what I make and what I spend is going to help me
Yeah.
pay down all the debt that I have in order to get me out.
Right.
Right. So like now I know, oh, there's an extra $300. I can use that to
Yes.
pay down some debt. And now I lay out all my debt. I see what the minimum payments are and I'm paying those. And I always tell people if you're in a position where money's tight, if you can put $2 extra
Yes.
towards that debt every time, even if it's just $2 extra, pay your minimum plus $2, pay your minimum plus five if you can stretch it. But if you want to get to a place where you're putting really attacking that debt heavily. But if you can't, start off with a minimum amount and then put a couple of extra bucks towards it because you just want to get
I
it done
love it.
faster, right? So, but lay out your debt, know what the difference is. I mean, lay out your budget, know what the difference is. Lay out all of your debt. And I always say, I remember my pastor would always say, you can't fix what you don't
Yes.
face. The first time I put all my debt in order, I put all those minimum balances, all the minimum payments right beside it. I looked at it and I said, look at how much money a month I'm spending to just pay for things that
Come
I bought
on.
in the past. And once I decided that, hey, now I'm looking this in the face and I said, hey, I have to do something about this. That's when I started to get more more focused on my budget. That's when I started getting more focused on paying that debt down because I now had to look in the face the very thing that I created, which is, hey, I
Yeah.
created it. I'm okay, and I'm okay with that. You got
That's
to
it.
own what we own what we do. We own what we do, and then we
That's right.
work on it. So that's where we start with that. And there's some strategies like there's a debt
I
snowball. You
love.
can look
I
that
love
up.
that one.
There's a thing called the debt avalanche and the debt snowball. You just listing all
Mm-hmm.
your debt in order and you're chipping away at the smallest one first. And then you remove that one and then you start chipping away at the next smallest until you eliminate all of your debt. And you keep putting the full payments on
That's
all
right.
of those debts until
That's
they're
right.
gone. And so like that's one strategy. Then you have the avalanche, which is another good strategy. That one, but like with these, you find your system. But I will say what helped me the most was putting it in front of
I
myself,
love it.
writing it
I
down,
love it.
looking at it. And that's what allowed me to get some motivation to actually
I
go
love
on
it.
after it.
See, because you know what? You gotta write it down and stop playing. Okay. It ain't the ones that, well,
Hmm.
it's just a little $8, but just do look, let's do 8 times 12. Do the math, okay? And I'm gonna tell you what, I'm gonna tell you something. I had to get delivered from Chick-fil-A, all right? Because let me tell you something. I actually need a real spiritual deliverance from Chick-fil-A. I don't know what they was doing to me. But I'm serious, I did. And I'm gonna tell you how God did
I
it.
get it.
He shut that place down and they start remodeling. Look, that's the only way that I can get out of it. And because I really had to
I
get
get it.
delivered because I was spending buku money. Okay. But my pocketbook
Hmm.
started loving me because I'm like, oh, I got a whole bunch of little money over here because going to Chick-fil-A, I love Chick-fil-A. I have nothing against Chick-fil-A. People out there that's listening, I have nothing against it. I love Chick-fil-A. But I had to discipline myself and say, you can go, but you can't get
Hmm.
everything you want all the time. When me and my sons I was going through divorce and keeping my kids intact. I told them this. I said, you may not get a blizzard, but I'm gonna get you an ice cream cone. Okay. We didn't we
I
didn't we didn't
I
want for
like.
nothing. We didn't want for nothing. At least I'm saying that.
Hmm.
My kids probably get on here and put some comments like, no, we was hungry. But anyway, but it's like I'm just saying, you
But
really did want for stuff. You just wouldn't listen, mommy. You just wasn't the man. Get out of here, okay? I'm trying to do some big stuff. But for when it comes to money management, my kids will say, my mama can manage some money, okay? because I can
Mhm.
discipline. I don't have to have the latest of this. I ain't got to have the newest of this. I mean, right now my closets are full. Guess what? COVID-19. Hey, get weight gain. So what I gotta do is lose weight. I ain't gotta go buy new. Okay. I just need to go ahead on and lose the weight in order to get back into those same classic clothes. Hello, that don't go
There
out
we
of
go. There we
style.
go.
That's another thing. Stop buying clothes
Hmm.
that's so trendy that you can't wear it more than one time, different ways. So there's a whole bunch of tricks to doing
Marilyn,
whatever. Go shop it in your closet
man,
and stop playing. Go ahead.
let me tell you. I used to tell people. I used to tell people. Fashion is expensive. Style
Yes.
is cheap. Because if you fashion is all the
Hmm.
trendy stuff. So if you got to buy the latest and greatest, that's when you're paying the highest prices. But if you have style, you can buy very, like you
Uh
said,
huh.
classic. You can buy timeless. You can buy pieces and put them together, and you'll mess around and have a
That's
killer
it.
whattrobe
Without
without breaking the
breaking.
bank. And like you
Yeah,
said,
and yeah,
go
like
back to
I
your
said,
phone.
I'm like, why? I mean, I'll buy a couple more pieces because of the size, but for
Hmm.
the most part, COVID-19 is a lie. Okay, no, man, I like
You
my clothes. Okay, I'm not going
you
to
you
succumb to saying I got to go pay because I don't like to do that. I'm not a shopper, believe it or not. When I go shop for
yeah
what I want, then I get out the store. I don't like going around and looking. Well, that was $15. I'm waiting till it gets seven. Really, you could be doing something else with your time. Okay, so yeah, but it
hmm
all. What I'm saying is that everything counts. Everything is a
yes,
piece of the puzzle of you living in true freedom. It is everything that you do,
yes,
from your
and
mom and them to
and
what
that's
you
the
done
goal.
learned on the outside or what other people doing. You got to really look at it, and also you got to look at, are you talking about ego? Are you talking about pride? Are you talking about what they say, the lust of the eye, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life? You better get with it and say, that ain't for me. Okay, because don't try to keep
Hmm.
up with something you ain't even. Why are you trying to compete anyway? They ain't think about you. Okay, well you can't eat number ramen noodles. Okay, but anyway, we'll get back to this. So we talked about getting out of debt with credit cards. Now I'm gonna have to bring this elephant in the room up. Student loans. Oh,
Ooh.
what have you heard out there?
Hmm.
Meaning, folks is gone crazy about it. But I can just say, I'm gonna tell you get right now, I got my loans forgiven. If you don't know nobody, please know me. I got them forgiven. All right. And I can tell you how much it was because
Ooh.
I'm proud. It was $120,000. Guess what? I had no
Sheesh.
debt, but I wanted my children to have a good life and a good education. When I got my degrees, I didn't
Mhm.
have any debt, but I got debt based on my love for my legacy, right? But I got it
Yep.
all. They sent me the
Mhm.
letter. I'm like, Jesus, Jesus, okay. I,
Beautiful
I was
day.
like, and,
Beautiful day.
and I told my son, he said, Mom, gee, I didn't think I was gonna know anybody. Wow. I'm like, yeah, they wrote me. So yeah, tell us about this student
Mhm.
loan and how everybody is freaking out and what's going on for real.
Yep, yep. So I mean, right now, I'll tell you, one of the things that we're seeing more than anything right now is the level of forgiveness and the level of, um, the things that have been put in place around student loans as of right now has been very, very helpful. I mean, now, a lot of us, we ended up in that student loan
Uh-huh.
debt crisis, right? And this is one of the things I always like to for us to think about, right? Someone told me a long time ago. They said by the time the stuff gets to when something gets to black people, or when by the time it really gets to our door, it's probably too
Mm,
late. And so like by the time, so it's like when we hear about the latest and greatest investment, by now a lot of other people done already used it, made a ton of money, and now we're just hearing about it and we're just trying it, right? But it's been something that's probably been around for a while and that people have been taking advantage of in a big way. Or the rules have changed by the time that it's got
mm-hmm,
to us, right? So you remember, we were all told, go to college, go get that degree, go and get you your good government paying job or
yes.
whatever it was, or get you a good job, and that's what's going to take you into the future. But what we ended up seeing is now we're in the student loan
Mm-hmm.
debt crisis. where everybody owes so much money for student loans, and we're trying to figure out, how do I pay all of this and still attain anything close to what we've considered an
Right.
American dream? And but that's the tricky thing. When we go and look for this American dream, in most cases, there's debt associated with it. That is more of an American scheme
Come
than a
on.
dream, right? Everything they try to tell us to do, it's some debt connected to it, and we have to invest in something in order to do it. But every investment that we end up having to go and make, it ends up costing us
Yes.
significantly. So we have to be careful about what we do, in that case. For now, for a lot of us, it's already here. We have it. We're figuring it out. What I will say is to make sure that you are taking advantage of what's out there now. We got, all of what's come out in the administration now. We got what's called these save plans,
Mm-hmm.
SAVE. So those, go look into that and see if you qualify for a save plan, because student loan payments are back. But now here's some of the things that to know. We have what's called these income driven
Mm-hmm.
repayment plans. You do want to apply for those if you can. That is what you need to be on if you want to get the
Right.
student loan forgiveness. So if you want to get forgiveness, you want the income driven repayment plans. You also, if you don't know what the public student loan forgiveness
Mm-hmm.
program is, you want to make sure that
Mm-hmm.
you're aware of that. That means that you could have, if you've worked for a public sector or any
Mm-hmm.
qualifying organization, you may be eligible to have your loans forgiven after
Right.
10 years of
Right.
payments. So, things like that. You want to make sure we want to be aware of these things, because these are the things that we need in order to make sure that we're truly taking advantage of what's happening. And right now, more forgiveness is happening than ever before. So you want to check into these things. So go on to, and on your student loan services website, or go to studentloans.gov and look into this information. I know I did mine. I'm working in a space where I can get forgiveness. I've worked in, luckily, like, if you've worked in nonprofits, if you worked in the
Mm-hmm.
public, I mean, in the
Mm-hmm.
private, I'm sorry,
Public.
public
Mm-hmm.
sector, then, in some cases you may be eligible. And if you're not taking advantage of it, make sure that you are, right? So that you can get the forgiveness that's out there. And right now it's happening more than ever. So start applying, making sure that you're putting in those applications for either your income driven repayment plan or your save
Yeah.
application. So go and look into those and see what's available for you. But we know student loans, it can
Yeah.
be
It
a
can.
burden.
It
Some
can.
of us, we have a,
It
yeah, we,
is.
you
And
know,
and even with, and let me just say another trick. When I did get it forgiven, then the money that I normally would
mhm.
pay, I start to save it. Okay.
I
The
like that.
money that I
I
would
like
have
that.
to pay, we went through all that COVID-19, blah, blah, blah. So once they forgave it,
Mhm.
the amount of money that I would have had to pay, I start to save it. Okay.
Good.
And
Yep.
that was a good
Hmm.
thing. I also want to say, when I got my loan forgiven, I had to do my own due diligence and look through everything that they did. And I caught what they messed up. And when I caught them for messing up, that's how I got, because they was telling me, no, you're gonna have to do 6 more payments. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. Now I done did this payment over here, right? And you didn't give me credit for all this. And they said, ma'am, you're exactly
There
right.
you go.
And that's when I kicked it up to a higher level. And that's how I got it.
Hmm.
So I'm saying this. It may be a hard task, but be diligent and be consistent. People talking to you, write down their names. Okay, who are you? Okay, who are you? So when you get ready to talk to somebody else, you say, well, I talked to John on this day and he told me this. You see what I'm saying? So that's another thing, Mr. Booker, that people don't know how to approach debt
Yeah.
collectors or whatever. They don't know how to approach them. But mom, I can tell you a funny story. My son said, Mom, he said, I remember you told them. I said, I don't care how much I owe. I know how much I'm gonna pay. he said, he said, I said, son, where you get that from? He's like, Mom, I got that from you. And he said, Mom,
He was listening.
but I would be on the phone. I'm like, I don't care how much I owe. I know how much I'm gonna pay, because my mama said you better give them the less amount, and then because they got their lights on. Now, why you go get some? But I'm just saying, it's it's
No,
things that you have to do and stay true to yourself. And you got to do your due diligence. My son was using his credit
mm,
card when he was living with me, working on his master's degree. I said, son, I'll pay that minimum. And I paid that minimum. It was like really small, but I paid that minimum for him because I was helping him to move to move out. Okay, that's what it is. I was helping him
Yeah.
to move out,
There you
but
go.
all I'm saying is that we have to do our due diligence. Okay, with this debt thing, don't sit there and cry. You got to fight. You get there, you talk to somebody, call somebody back again. Just keep
Yep.
calling, because it's just like you go to a phone company. You call one person, they tell you one deal. You call another person, they're gonna give you another deal. Okay, so you got to keep on in that system, because digging out of debt is for real and it's for you. Okay, this is not something
Mhm.
for everybody else. It's for you. And your debt
Yep.
looks different from my debt. But you want to, and I think you can agree with me, Mr. Booker. You just want to feel free, feel like you getting free.
Freedom.
Why these folks is shackled on you? And I can quote the scripture: you owe no man nothing but to love him. Okay, and that's it. And so
Mhm.
so
Yep.
that's where it is. But hey, we are at time. Tell me something. Tell us a final word or something. But I'm digging on this. Okay, I think it's pretty cool. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And I think just, based on what you were just saying, like it's like this is the fight for our
Yes.
lives, right? This is our freedom. This is the life we want to live, the life that we choose, not the one that is put on us because we have to go to work, because we have to pay bills. Like money can set you up in these chains that you never wanted to be in. And what we truly want is freedom at the end of the day. We want to be in a space where we get to control everything we do, and we get to wake up, do what we choose to do, because we know that we've set ourselves up for freedom financially. There's so many things that we can have to focus on and think about in this
Mm-hmm.
life, right? There's so many other stressors that can be a part of it. I want everybody to know that money does not have to be
No,
one of them. You don't have to live there like you're gonna always have to pay somebody. We were told these things in our lives that you're gonna
that's
always owe
it.
somebody. It doesn't that it don't have to be that way. Life doesn't have to be the way that we've seen it. It doesn't have to be the way that we imagine or the way that we thought it could be. It can truly be in a way that we imagine beyond our wildest dreams. And that's a free life where we enjoy every dollar that we own, and debt does not
No,
have to be a
no.
part of it.
No,
So,
that's
that's
right. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
I'll
a
say
good
that.
word. And debt is a four-letter word. Okay, so let's just know that that is
Mhm.
it. It is a four-letter word. But hey, there is hope. There is hope. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. So don't give up. Just find what's right for you, and you work that plan, and you'll start to feel
Oh
so
yeah.
much better. You'll sleep better. All right. But Mr. Book, it has been a dream come true to have you on my show. Okay. Because when I saw you,
Thank
I
you
was
for
like,
having me.
ooh, I'm getting him. I'm getting him. I'm in it. Because I am
I
all about
appreciate you. I
money
appreciate
management. I'm all about the
you. Hmm.
practicalities of things. What's logistically sound? No, I can't go there. I can't, I'm just all about that. I'm not saying I got stacks and stacks, but I got a mindset of stacks and stacks, okay,
Hmm.
of money.
There
That's
we
what I
go. I
got. But
love
hey,
that.
it has been real.
I
And hey,
love
you
that.
guys, I know you enjoyed this. And so let me just say that if you want to subscribe or like or follow or do what you do, I really would appreciate it, because I'm coming back with every type of thing that you can think of about things that can transform your mind. That's what Girl Who Don't You Know is all about. That's all what I'm about. To make you get some things in your head so you can make the best rational decision for your life. So for now, we're going to sign off, and I appreciate you guys and love you very much. So until next time, hey, have a wonderful day.